Hiya folks, what's up? It's Will back for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night 104 from Houston, Texas, as Dennis Bermudez faces off against the returning Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung in your main event here. Overall, the card's not great. There's a few fights I'm looking forward to seeing, a few fighters I'm looking forward to seeing. I do think it's a very hard card for betting on. I've had a look at some of the early odds that come out in America. We haven't really got the odds over here in UK yet. And it looks a little bit of a struggle. Hopefully I can find some stuff on here. Coming off a pretty bad week for myself bet wise. DraftKings, I profited big again, which is awesome. I'm continuing that. I just need to shore up my bets a little bit. Just a shout out to everybody who subscribed, liked, comment. I mean, since the start of the year, we're only just at the end of January now, and again 75 new subscribers. That is awesome. 8,000 views over the two videos, which is awesome. I really do appreciate all the support, guys, and the comments. I'm seeing a lot of new people in the comments speaking about the fights. That's what I want. Let's get talking about these fights. Just a shout out to the Easy Money campaign. You know who you are, on Twitter, who did big on Jorge Masvidal. Rockstar Z hit the nail in the head with the Masvidal prediction. I didn't see it. I was on Cerrone, of course, but there was a lot of sharp guys who were on Masvidal last week, so congratulations to those guys. Just a shout out to the MMA God for being number one in UFC Pick'em. After 2 weeks, he's had a great 2 weeks to start off the year. UFC Betting Shots, the best group on Facebook, with some of the sharp guys on there. We're making inruns and making our name kind of being felt on there. We're picking some really top fights, and it's got some really sharp people in there as well. But if you can, just to say again, thank you for all the like, comment and subscribes. I really do appreciate it. It's my biggest video for likes and thumbs up, so it really is appreciated. I won't ever kind of forget about you guys that have been here from the start, have helped me grow, and it makes me want to do these videos for you guys. So let's get into this card. Before I say that, I say DraftKings, Billboard85. If you want to play me, come and send me a message on there. I'm happy to. You can come and take my money. I'm making money on there. You can come and take it off me. So if you can, come and do it. Cap or take if you want to follow my bets. I might be a bit light this week, but I did say that last week and went in with 5 or 6 bets. So go follow me in there and track my bets. Play me in DraftKings. Follow me on Twitter, WillMartin788. A shout out to all the good people who make videos down below. And podcasts and interviews, you know who you are. I've said it many times before, but let's get into this fight card. It's starting off in the light heavyweight division with Daniel Jolly against Khalil Rountree. Pretty low level fight in the UFC light heavyweight division. Daniel Jolly, both guys coming off losses, I should say. Daniel Jolly coming off a loss too. Probably a top 10 guy in Misha Cirkunov. I think he's came out and he's proven that he's a top 10 fighter in that UFC light heavyweight division. And he really got kind of dominated in that fight. He came out, he got taken down like 2 or 3 times, he got outstruck very, very badly. But we've seen what Cirkunov is all about. In this matchup, it should be more he's liking. Khalil Rountree's coming off that loss to Tyson Pedro down in Australia at the end of the year. This is a fight I've been going back and forward on a little bit, because it's all about what can Khalil Rountree do in the first round. If he can come out and be the fighter coming forward and using his striking, he has very quick hands, but he has, on top of his, I don't think his striking's overly bad. He has some power. He did hurt Tyson Pedro there, had him hurt for a little bit. Then Pedro his head went into jiu-jitsu, grappling, took him down there and submitted him. That's where Daniel Jolly, his kind of main skill set is definitely on the ground, so that's where he's going to want to be looking to take this fight. Initially I came out with Daniel Jolly as a pick. I was doing tape study last week, and Daniel Jolly was my pick. The more that the last couple of days I went by, kind of looking at the kind of little nuances that could go into this fight, I'm going to pick Khalil Rountree, and I'm going to pick him early to finish Daniel Jolly. I think if this goes into round 2, especially round 3, I think this is Daniel Jolly's fight. But I think Khalil Rountree could catch Jolly maybe towards the end of that first round and take him out. So my pick's going to be Khalil Rountree, round number 1. Alex Morono against Niko Price. This could be a good fight because a lot of people underestimate Alex Morono. And the guy just gets it done. Tough, gritty, in your face. Just comes forward, throws a lot of strikes, a lot of volume. And I mean, his last fight, I think he landed like 111 strikes over the 3 rounds in his win over James Montazeri. Really just a tough guy to fight. And I think the more confidence this guy gets, he could beat some decent fighters if he was to get through this fight with another victory. Niko Price, a really nice UFC debut against Brandon Thatch. I can't believe I really picked Brandon Thatch, because Brandon Thatch is just, I think, I don't really accuse kind of fighters of being on stuff or whatever, but since like USADA's come in, even before that, he's been getting murked. So, I mean, Niko Price came in there, took a couple of shots early, but once he got the fight to the ground, it was a done deal. And that's where he's going to want to, I think, take this fight. He is the bigger fighter here. I think he is the better fighter on the ground. It's just getting up close and in the kind of grill of Alex Morono to get it to the ground, because I do think if he gets it to the ground, he will find a submission. It looks like a long guy, transitions very well, and once he's got that dominant position, he's really hard to kind of shake off you. And I don't think that Morono has the kind of grappling skills of Price to really kind of get him off of there. So I'm actually going to go with Niko Price in this one. I like him to finish the fight as well, but I'm actually going to... I do say I like him to finish the fight. I think if he can get it to the ground, I think there's a really high percentage that he does do it. But then I'm thinking about Alex Morono's toughness, his gameness, just to stay in the fight and be there right to the dying end. I was going to pick Niko Price via a submission. I'm going to pick via decision. So Niko Price via decision. I think it'll be a win, maybe a 30-27, but be very, very close. 30-27, not much in the rounds, maybe takedowns winning them. Women's strawweight division, we have Tecia Torres against Beck Rawlings now. I think it's an easy win for Tecia Torres. I'm not a Beck Rawlings fan. I don't think she's overly impressed me too much. I thought she lost to Siwi Ham. I thought that she was winning that fight with Paige Van Zandt before she got caught. All props to her. She was showing a bit of boxing, a bit of accuracy, but there's not much to her. And I think that Tecia Torres is just going to be too quick, going to be too fast, just get in and out, pepper with strikes, leg kicks like she did against Rose Namajunas, and get off those combinations and just be out before Rawlings is even in there throwing strikes. I think she can take her down at will as well with that speed if she wants to do that. I just think this is going to be, one of the bets I am looking at for all these fights is all the goals over. They'll be all over 2.5, I reckon. There is some of the goals ones I'm looking at under 2.5 as well, just a little bit, but I think parlaying them, not much. I'll not have much in it. Maybe with a fighter on there, but that's one of the bets I like. I just think Tecia Torres is the better fighter. She wants this more. She's coming off her first loss. She'll be hungry for it. Tecia Torres for me via decision. Now this is the fight I'm really looking forward to. Ricardo Ramos against Michinori Tanaka. We'll start off with Michinori Tanaka. Tough fighter coming out of Japan. Very, very close fights that he has. Coming off a loss to Rani Yaya, where he did get kind of vastly outclassed in that one. He got taken down. I think it was like 7 times he was taken down against Yaya. Yaya just kind of really stalled, looked for submissions, never really get anything close. But the gameness of and the grit of Tanaka kept him in the fight. Lost a fairly convincing 30-27. Can take a shot as well, can Tanaka, and just a tough fighter. He's a tough fighter to face, especially in a UFC debut like Ricardo Ramos here. Ricardo Ramos, 9-1 record. A guy who I've known about for the last couple of years. I actually thought he'd be in the UFC by now, but he did lose a fight to Manny Vasquez. I think this kid has a very bright future in the UFC bantamweight division. Now we know that what that division is like, it's full of killers. Does remind me of Thomas Almeida a little bit, but his skill set is clearly the ground game and his submission game and his chaining of submissions, his transitions are beautiful. This is what I think he has to do in this fight. I think he has to really mix it up. I think he has. I just watched Brandon Kaplan's video, a guy who makes YouTube videos on here as well. Very good guy. who watches him. He said he only watched the one fight. He says he's not really a striker. If you go back and watch his earlier fights, you will see against Justin Radar that he really hurt him on the feet before he got him down to the ground. But he does like to take the fights to the ground and really just work his jiu-jitsu down there. I think he has to work his striking to really open up those takedowns, because in his fight with, I think it was Alfred Kashakian in his last fight, looking for a fight the Dana White kind of show, there was takedowns there. That guy had a clear disparity for getting taken down, and Ramos just went back to the well again and again, and just was very patient until he found that submission. And that's what the guy is. He's very good in the mount. Transitions very well, gets to the armbar, but also off his back against Cody Walker, he was on his back there, and he just made those little adjustments that really good guys on the ground make, and managed to get the finish there via triangle choke. In fact, it might have been an armbar with the triangle choke as well. So really decent guy on there, but I think he has to mix it up. If he doesn't mix it up, Tanaka might just kind of get these rounds, but I can see Ramos taking Tanaka down. I can see Tanaka taking Ramos down. I see this being a very close fight. I think that Ramos can finish. I like his jiu-jitsu skills, I really do. I don't know whether I'm going to have the balls to pick him via submission. Try to think, 3 rounds, Tanaka. You know what? If Ricardo Ramos wants to win this fight, he has to stop the fight maybe. I think the rounds he might just eke out, but I think if he convincingly wants to win this fight, he stops it. So I'm going to go a second round submission against Ricardo Ramos. Now that's saying a lot, considering that Tanaka's coming off a fight with Rani Yaya. If I don't see it, I see it being a very close split decision for either guy, but I want to pick Ricardo Ramos. I think I like what I see out of this kid. I just think he's a really good fighter. So Ramos via sub, if not a very close decision for me there. Chaz Skelly against Chris Gruetzemacher here. This was a little bit odd matchmaking when I seen it, because Chaz Skelly is a good fighter, a really good, sound, solid fighter, and Gruetzemacher is not. I don't think he's overly good. I think he's tough, but there's nothing when I watch him that really, maybe he's hard a little bit to stay in fights. There's nothing that really jumps out at me as saying he's a really good fighter. He's just your generic fighter, tough, but very generic. Chaz Skelly, on the other hand, I mean, he came out against Maximo Blanco and it was crazy. He threw a kick, and then 15 seconds later, Maximo Blanco was out, put him in a beautiful choke, and really, it was a really great performance there from Chaz Skelly. I just think everywhere this fight is, I know Skelly's not really looked at as a really good fighter on his feet. I don't think he's bad. I think that's ever improving. I think on the ground he absolutely tools Chris Gruetzemacher here. So I'm going to pick maybe a late first round, early second round submission win here for Chaz Skelly. If not, I see him just rinse and repeating takedowns in dominant positions. And for DraftKings, that might not be a bad thing, but I think he has to look for the finish. I think he can get the finish, and I'm going to pick him to finish early round number 2 via submission. Heavyweight division, Adam Milstead against Curtis Blaydes. Like Curtis Blaydes in this one. I think that Milstead in his debut against Chris De La Hoya, very sloppy, took some shots he shouldn't have. And if De La Hoya was a bigger hitter like some of the other guys are in this division, he would probably have been out. And I see Curtis Blaydes finding a way to his chin and putting a little bit of a beating on him on the feet. But kind of the glaring thing that I see in the corner of Curtis Blaydes here is his grappling. I think he's a huge athletic guy. We've seen it. I mean, he did very well in that fight, I thought, against Francis Ngannou, who's just soaring through that UFC heavyweight division. I think the takedowns are going to be there for Curtis Blaydes. I think he's going to take down Milstead numerous times and pound on him. Maybe I can see Milstead getting back to his feet a few times, but I think if Milstead backs up to the cage and doesn't show that little bit of movement, Curtis Blaydes is going to be straight on his ass, put him against the cage, dump him, take him down, and unleash some shots on him down there. I don't see Milstead. One of the things he's got, that he trains with Stipe Miocic, but is he the punching bag to Stipe Miocic that a lot of fighters out there may have? Is that fighter who makes you look good, gives you the confidence that you're beating up a guy? That could be the case here. I like Milstead in his debut. I thought he's a really nice addition to the heavyweight division. I like Curtis Blaydes a lot more. Big athletic guy. I think he's got more to him. Can take a shot as well. I like Curtis Blaydes here. I can see him taking down Milstead a couple of times in round 1. Tiring out Milstead. Sean Carey Tattoo says that Milstead is going to blow it and be kind of out of breath very, very quickly. Gas very, very quickly. I see that as well. So I'm going to go late round TKO in the second round for Curtis Blaydes there. A very confident pick that I may have to see about what odds we can get for a TKO finish at maybe under 1.5. It's one I might look at. So I'll maybe have a little look at that. But I like a late second round TKO victory for Blaydes. Main card. Jessica Andrade fights Angela Hill. Nice to see Jessica Andrade fight again. She was supposed to fight at 207 against Hill, but Hill came in for this whole USADA thing that she had to test for 4 months, which is shit because she's fighting in early February again, literally like 6 weeks after she was supposed to fight. I think it's just that whole USADA thing is just weird. Hard to pick against Jessica Andrade in this one though. First 2 events of 2017, a lot of favourites have won. I've picked some dogs out, 1 or 2. On Toutmaster, I picked Masvidal because I thought he was just for 135 his price. I thought it's a good one to have, so I had him. Just don't see too many dogs in this one throughout, but there is 1 or 2 that I do like. But Angela Hill, she was in the UFC. She was very green in the tough show. She came out. She faced Tecia Torres in Mexico, got taken down. Just got kind of laid on by Tecia Torres. She's predominantly a striker. She went over to Invicta after losing to Rose Namajunas, getting choked out very, very early in that one, and went over there and won the belt. She beat Alda Gray, a beautiful knockout of Stephanie Egink, and then she beat Livia Souza, that which I thought it'd be a close fight, but I thought Souza would do more, and Hill got the decision there, and then she beat Kayleen Medeiros, just a striker by trade. But Jessica Andrade she's a little tank, little tank, and she's a very tough fighter to face. She's streaking in this division. She completely dismantled Joanne Calderwood, took her down a few times, passed her guard at will. Once she had the opportunity, finished the fight there. So my pick, I'm seeing some short people on Twitter, MMA Kilton is a guy that quite young in the game of betting and predictions, doing very well for himself. Hope you keep it up, mate. He's went in pretty big and under. I think it's at 1.5. I think he's went in. I don't know. I think Hill's improved as a fighter, and she can maybe last the 3 rounds. But I can see where he's coming from regarding this, because if Andrade gets in that dominant position, we've seen that against submission girls in the past, that Hill has struggled, like Namajunas caught on a funky thing there, that she could tap her out. She could easily probably knock her out as well. I'm going to go a decision here, and it's something I might take a little stab on depending on what the price is for that one, but I like Jessica Andrade fairly convincingly. Heavyweight division, we've got Anthony Hamilton against Marcel Fortuna. This price is a little bit weird for me because Marcel Fortuna is not a very, very good fighter. He lost to Corey Hendricks on the tough show, and Anthony Hamilton is one of those guys that on his day could probably beat a lot of, maybe beat a good guy or two, but there's a lot of days where you don't know what you're going to get from him. But this is the type of fight where I think that he's going to look good in. And he came off that fight with, I was kind of thinking when this fight got made, it only got made like 10 days ago, that it's a little bit quick after that loss to Ngannou, but then I was thinking, I went back and watched it, he took no damage against Ngannou except for nearly getting his arm taken off, and he just tapped when he felt that pressure on the ground of Ngannou. So I see this one, I see him taking him down and just beating him up. The price, I think, from what the boys in America were telling me, was minus 150, maybe minus 160. This should be probably minus 300. So if the odds when this fight comes out over here in the UK, if this is round about your 150, I'm going to look to parlay him and maybe one of the girl fights on an over 2.5, like maybe a Tecia Torres, because I think this is very, very convincing. Marcel Fortuna is not good. Me saying that now, just watching him come out and beat Anthony Hamilton, who is not one of your best heavyweights in the UFC, but he's tough, and he is just a tough heavyweight. He only kind of loses to the better guys. He beats the guys that are kind of around the same skill set, like your Omilanchuk, and so on and so on. So I like Anthony Hamilton. I'm going to pick him via TKO in round number 1. I think Fortuna is a blown up heavyweight. He should be down at 205. So Anthony Hamilton hopefully should take him down, guide him, put him against the cage, take him down, beat him up with some strikes, and then finish the fight. A guy you should maybe look at for DraftKings as well, depending on what his price is. I don't think I'll have much of him in this one, but we'll see. Light heavyweight division, Ovince Preux against Volkan, Oezdemir. Oezdemir's not good either. He's another guy that I don't see too much out of. I've seen this guy before. He came to the UFC in Bellator against Kelly Anderson. I just think this is a fight for OSP to really get back on the win here. The funny thing was, when I was in Manchester for 204, I was just kind of thinking when I was round about, is this guy, he got an opportunity to fight for that interim belt? Is he maybe achieved all he's meant to achieve in the sport now, and he's maybe not putting everything into it? That was something I kind of got a little bit of a thing off when I seen him there, and I picked OSP. I think he'd maybe just edged round 1 in that fight, but then he got knocked out brutally, and it's quite a quick turnaround. He got knocked out in like early October. Just coming into February, this will be here. That's maybe a little bit of a quick turnaround, but I don't see anywhere where Oezdemir is really going to really trouble him here. I think that on the feet he clearly outstrikes Volkan. I think on the ground he's the stronger guy. He's the more well versed down there, and he's very, very creative with his submissions, and Oezdemir has been submitted in the past. So I'm going to go probably a late second round submission there for Ovince Preux. I think it'll be a stoppage win there, so that's another DraftKings thing to look at if you're playing that. So OSP for the win though. Good fight. Lightweight division, Abel Killer Trujillo against James Vick. Now, as I say, I'm not sure whether the lines in the UK are out over here. They probably are. I just haven't really have a look. I never really have a look until your Tuesday of the event. But James Vick opened up as the underdog, I believe. Or he opened up as the favourite, went to an underdog, and now he's back to, I think he's the favourite in this one here. This is a really interesting matchup here because we all know what Abel Trujillo's about. He's got that very hard hitting, punishing power. Got the wrestling there as well. He got that submission against Tony Sims, so that's something you have to watch out for. James Vick he's a guy who's always progressing. He's a very smart guy in the sport with his just his all around. If you listen to Half the Battle and him on there, and maybe James Lynch interviews, he's just a really smart, sound, savvy guy when it comes to the fight game. Thinks a lot about it, and it's something that I think will help him as he goes forward. He's coming off a tough loss over Beneil Dariush. That was maybe a step up a little too soon, but who am I to say that? He felt confident, he thought he was going to win the fight. He got caught and he got taken out there. The thing here with Abel Trujillo, I think if he gets through round 1, James Vick in 2 and 3 can really get at Abel Trujillo and possibly use that length. I think he has to jab him and use that long jab and put Trujillo in the back foot. Don't let him come forward, throw heavy hands and get you, because we have seen that he's been taken out before, has James Vick. So he might want to play a little bit safe, try and maybe wrestle a little bit. The one thing I'm kind of looking at regarding fighters coming out of the Black Zillions now, there's been a little bit of upheaval with coaches leaving, Henry Hooft, fighters leaving, so who are they training with? There'll still be great fighters at Black Zillions for Trujillo to train with, but that's something you've got to kind of keep an eye on a little bit. Close fight. Can Trujillo get it done round 1? I think he can. Can Vick win the fight as well? He can. I like James Vick, but I see it being very close, and I hopefully he gets to underdog, because if he's an underdog by maybe Friday afternoon, I'll probably end up taking a shot, not unless something creeps up there, so or somebody misses weight or so on and so on. I like James Vick. I'm going to pick him via a very close split decision, and a little bit of a tough one because I am a fan of Abel Trujillo. I like the guy as a fighter. I like to watch him fight. He's very kind of unpredictable. You don't know what's coming. So, but pick's going to be James Vick. Split decision, very close. Being in Texas as well might help. So that'll be my pick there. Co-main event: Alexa Grasso against Felice Herrig here. Yeah, I like Alexa Grasso here. Not the biggest fan of Felice Herrig, but she is a well-grizzled veteran of the sport. And is this a step up a little too soon for Alexa Grasso? It could be. I was speaking to, I think it was MMA State of Mind I was speaking to on the Easy Money campaign, that little talk that we have on Twitter, and he says just be careful. And I could be, but the way I see this fight, I think that Alexa Grasso, if she doesn't come out slow, she came out slow against Heather Jo Clark, and I thought that you could see like the nerves a little bit. She was a little bit tentative. I think if she comes out and gets in the face of Felice Herrig here, she is going to beat her ass, and I think she's going to do it really badly. I mean, Felice Herrig, her wins in the UFC are Heather Jo Clark. I don't think she's overly great. Lisa Ellis, she was not great. Kylie Curran, I think, has the potential to win fights in the UFC in the future. She has to go away and win some fights on other organisations. And I do think she fades, where Alexa Grasso is going to come strong, hard there. She puts some beautiful combinations together. If she puts you against the cage, she can unload with uppercuts, body shots, you name it. And I do think she's a girl who can fight for the title. I think possibly win the title in the future. Maybe a bit of a long shot, but I like Alexa Grasso a lot. I like her a lot in this fight. The only thing I worry about with Grasso is if she gets put against the fence and Herrig looks for a takedown and gets it, because Herrig is very dangerous. She's very strong on the ground. But overall, I like Alexa Grasso. She's going to be one of my more confident picks. I might look at a TKO proposition. I'm looking at all things in the girls' fight this week just to see if I can maybe snipe something, or parlay fodder for maybe a Blaydes or so on and so on. Alexa Grasso, I think she can stop Felice Herrig inside 2 rounds. So I'm going to go a second round TKO victory for Alexa Grasso. And the main event of the night, Dennis the Menace Bermudez against the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung. And this fight has been really, since I got my tape study done for last week's card, I've been watching fights of both guys, and I've been going back and forward in this. It's one of those head versus heart picks here. The head says I should pick Dennis Bermudez. The heart is definitely saying the Korean zombie can win this fight, and I do think he can win this fight. But that 3.5 year layoff for Chan, who was in the Korean army, the military over there, it's just really thrown me off. But I've just got the sneaking suspicion with Chan Sung Jung that he's going to catch something. I mean, Chan Sung Jung, if you go back and watch his fight with Leonard Garcia, his fight with Dustin Poirier is one of my favourite personal fights of all time. It's just such a good scrap. But he's very well versed everywhere. I think the more well-rounded fighter is definitely Chan Sung Jung. I firmly believe that. But like Sean Carey Tattoo said, a really smart guy on Twitter regarding betting and other things, he said that look at the resume of Chan Sung Jung and tell me when he's faced a wrestler, and it's 100% true. When has he faced a wrestler? That's what Dennis Bermudez is. He comes in, grinds, looks to take you down, and work from there. Thing is with Dennis Bermudez, he always seems to get caught and dropped. And if you give that to Chan Sung Jung, give him the confidence there, and trying to get that guy off you is really, really tough. Coming off wins, Bermudez over Honey Jason, used his grappling so well in that one. There are numerous takedowns, just outworked Ronnie Jason that one. Did the same to Tatsuya Kawajiri, who was the kind of king of the grinders back in 5 to 7 years ago possibly. Losses, I saw that loss to Jeremy Stevens. That was a close fight. Got dropped in that one. I think he got dropped in the Lamas fight as well, before he got guillotined. I mean, this is a really tough pick for me. I really want to pick Chan Sung Jung, but my pick is going to be Dennis Bermudez via a grinding, maybe a 49-46 or a 48-47. I see it being close. I see Jung getting rounds. The The one thing I am really worried about with the pick with Bermudez is that he's going to enter for a takedown. I've been saying this, and he's going to leave a limb out there for the zombie to catch a hold of. I think he's got underestimated ground skills. It's hard to see what he's been working on when he's been in the military, if he has been or not. I think it's a tough fight coming back from after that 3.5 years, and the game changes so much over that time that it is hard to pick Chan Sung Jung. I really want Zombie to come back and win because I do think he's one of those fighters that can be a top fighter in the 145 pound division. I think he could go further than Dennis Bermudez, beat better fighters than Dennis Bermudez. But I think the smart pick is Dennis Bermudez. I'm going to pick him via a decision, but just keep an eye out if he goes in for that takedown and he leaves something there. I think the Zombie will be all over it. I've got that sneaking suspicion that he could do that, but my pick's going to be Dennis the Menace via decision. Very, very close fight though. It's either going to be very close or very dominant for Dennis Bermudez, but Bermudez has to be the pick, unfortunately. I think it's a smart guy to go with. But if you're going to go for Chan Sung Jung, fair dues to you. I can't do it after that layoff. So that is my picks there for UFC Fight Night 104 from Houston, Super Bowl weekend card. As I said at the start, please go and support all the guys who make great products out through the week, Bookie Beatdown and stuff like that. Great guys that really not enough people really talk about them, but they give great DraftKings advice, they give great fight breakdowns. I really enjoy their stuff every week. And then there's all the guys that I've mentioned week in, week out. Please go and support all those guys. Shout out to the guys at UFC Betting Sharks on Facebook, and the guys that I speak to on Twitter. You all know who you are. If you want to play me on DraftKings, I say it again, Bilber85, Cap or Take, you can find me on there. You can find me on there if you put in Bilber85, I think it is as well. And I'll be back for UFC 208, Home versus Duranme for the UFC Featherweight Championship, which is a little bit of a joke if you ask me. Follow me on Twitter, WillMartin7MMA. And until the fights come round later on this week, we're on Monday now. Take care, all the best. I hope your bets cash, and I hope your DraftKings lines, your lineups do very well too, but hopefully mine do better. All the best, guys.